Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Season 2, Episode 8. We're going to be talking about the 5 subtler senses, explaining what they are, how do you use them, and how we actually lost them.
Let her rip, let her fly. Come, baby, say it to them. Gonna cry about some more. Nerves gonna die. Oh, if you're gonna say goodbye, don't take off damn. Now let her rip, let her fly.
We're going to take a look now at the story of the Magi and see how Johnny is handling, interpreting, and finding out, learning what the subtle senses are. Stay tuned.
Johnny is sitting on the porch watching the clouds pass by. The old Magi comes out seeing the lad staring off at the clouds. He slowly sits down on the steps beside his young apprentice. "What are you thinking about?" he asks the lad. "Oh," Johnny replies, "my grandma's pecan pie." "Is it good?" the old Magi asks, looking up at the clouds. "Oh yes," Johnny declares, "it is very good." The old Magi grins. "Let us try something. Close your eyes. Now imagine your grandma's pecan pie. Can you see it?" "Oh yes, it looks very good." The old Magi nods. "Can you smell it?" It smells so good." The old man smiles. "Now can you taste it?" The sweet filling, the crunchy pecans, the crispy crust. I can taste it like it's in my mouth right now." Johnny laughs. "Do you know what you call that?" the Magi asks Johnny. "Call what?" "What you're doing, seeing, smelling, tasting something that really isn't here." The old Magi snickers. "That's called your subtle senses. They are like your real senses, but they are within your mind. Come inside and I'll tell you some more."
Hey everybody, this is the rant section of the video where I compare what the real world is versus what we're trying to teach. What we're talking about in this particular episode was the subtle senses and how there's 5, but there's not actually 5 senses, there's 10 senses, the spiritual and material senses. We're going to use one example, which is drugs. Everybody seems to be continually staying medicated in one form or another because they're afraid of themselves. They beat themselves up, they beat others up. Everybody feels out of control, inadequate, or whatever. They are taking medication that affects them, that changes them so they can't feel the real them, which of course affects all 10 senses, which makes you not be able to interpret the real world around you. This is not healthy. Stick around. We're going to take a look at that. What are they? The 5 subtler senses are just that. These are the 5 senses that are the spiritual side of sight, touch, taste, smell, and hearing. Examples of them are as follows. Number 1, seeing ghosts. Number 2, a mother hearing their child from a long distance and no one else can hear them. Number 3, smelling something burning and there is nothing there to smell, and then later finding out there had been a fire previously or will have a fire in the future. Number 4, have you ever heard of a cook putting together food, never tasting it and knowing what it will taste like? Or imagining what cinnamon tastes like and then being able to taste cinnamon without actually tasting it at that moment? Number 5, knowing what it would be like to touch something or have something touch you. How did we lose connection with our subtler senses? It's actually very simple. Our visual memories and our imagination go through our pineal gland, or third eye as some might call it. When we are young, we are taught to live in this world, a world of logic, not imagination. Imagination and fantasy are driven out of us at a very young age. We are taught to focus more on the world of logical thinking and given very little time for imagination and dreaming, so we may become more productive. At least, this is what we are taught to believe. Since we have this style of teaching, we eventually lose touch with our subtler senses and only rely on the 5 material senses. This is how we have lost a better part of our intuitive side. How do you use them? All things are connected, and by using our subtler senses along with our physical senses, we can receive a much larger picture of the things around us. Example, what to touch, when to speak, how to react, when trouble will arise, etc. Intuition is a cumulative action that happens as our mind, spirit, and body use all 10 senses at one time to gather up information and send it to the logical side of the mind for processing. Some people call this the 6th sense, but it's not. It's a cumulative understanding filtered through the logic centers of our mind. Practical exercises teach us how to strengthen our subtler senses. These exercises strengthen our will and teach us how to focus our spirit, mind, and body. Subtler senses. Number 1, sight. Receive a mental image. Number 2, taste. Taste spices without tasting it. Number 3, smell. Smell something far away. Number 4, hearing. Hear something at a distance. Number 5, touch. Feel something from a distance. As with meditation, these exercises will give you better control of yourself. Subtler senses. Number 1, sight. Deck of cards. Try and discern from the 4 suits: clubs, spades, hearts, and diamonds.
I like the explanations. They're very thorough. I can actually place a lot of this within myself. You help people, you send some love out, you help heal somebody, and I know that what you send out into the universe comes back